Yo, I'm Drunky.
I'm the Flood.
And welcome to the Fortnite update where we talk about all the patch notes, esports, and news related to Fortnite. This is episode 10 of the podcast. This is October 25th. Let's start the update. All right, Flood, so big patch 6.2 came out. We're going to be talking all about it during this podcast. But first, let's jump into some viewer mail from last week's episode. On episode 9, we asked, what is the next vehicle type that you want added to Fortnite? We got a couple of responses, and now let's go through them. From Swoon, he says that he would like something opposite of breaking stuff down, kind of like Christian Bale's Batman motorcycle. It could drive up mountains and people's forts. It would be super fast, but super vulnerable. What are your ideas about a vehicle that can like climb stuff but not break it down?
So if it's not breaking down, does it like build bridges and shit? Like, is it leaving stuff behind it, or is it just traveling in weird, crazy new ways?
Oh, I was thinking it would like turn up like 90 degrees straight up a fort, you know? Like
Yeah.
Something like
that. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, right?
I could be into that, especially if it was vulnerable. I like the idea of the vehicles being like quick but vulnerable. I'm into that idea. Mm-hmm. That could be neat. I don't know how it would play. I feel like what happens when you land like one wall out, like I don't know.
I would love it. It'd be like a grappler, but balanced. So.
Oh, dude, it would be a vehicle grappler.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
You get one use if someone breaks it down, like you're committed to that push, and this is it. Let's go.
Okay, so the grappler's not an item anymore; it's a vehicle. I'm into that actually.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Give us one, Flood.
All right, then Pizza Cake Man says he would like a vehicle that can fly, like a UFO or a surfboard. Lol. In my head, because he says surfboard, I'm immediately thinking Silver Surfer and thinking that sounds awesome. But also
Silver Surfer would be fun to fly around in. Flying vehicles makes me nervous, but I do like the idea of like something that shoots you in the air real quick. That might be fun.
Like something that gives you the rocket ride experience without having to like glitch the game and jump on rockets. Like that was clearly unintended, but like give me something intended that works like that. Then I could be into something like that.
I would love something like literally kind of like a jump pad, but it takes up an actual item slot. It has like one use. You pop it down, it just like shoots you straight up in the air, and like you can go from there. So it's like a jump pad, just more of an actual item, kind of like a porter rift. Like you have to carry it around on you. I'm
picturing just like shooting human skeet shooters, you know what I mean? Like those discs flying up, but it's just like with us riding on them and people just sniping you out of the sky.
Can you imagine if they put like catapults around the map, or like the Evil Knievel cannons, or the Super Dave cannons that would just like shoot you out? Like,
dude, that would be so funny.
All right.
Oh, I love it.
So that's viewer mail. If you guys drop these in the comments on the YouTube, sometimes we'll bring them up on the show. The question for this week will be at the end of the podcast, so make sure you stick around for that. But right now, let's jump into 6.2. Because this is a massive patch to go over. First off,
wait, really? They added a lot? I thought they just changed. Oh, never mind.
Look, don't start with McFly. Don't start. Be a professional. All right, so on this one, the biggest thing they've added, the limited time event, Fortnitemares. Kevin is angry with us, and he is bringing the Fortnitemares to the Battle Royale. So what's new in the Fortnitemares? This is in all the modes, solo, duos, and squads. You'll be affected by this. So the biggest thing. Cube fragments spawn cube monsters. These cube fragments can be found near the corrupted areas for the large cube fragments, and small cube fragments can be found all over the map. They drop randomly after the game starts. These cube fragments, they will spawn cube fiends, cube brutes, which are zombie-like creatures that you shoot. Every time you kill them, you gain a small amount of shield. They also drop loot. And with the Fortnitemares, you also have the Crossbow, which is a new limited time weapon that's a epic variant, 40 base damage, 7 shots, and does 4 times damage against fiends. All right, Flood, let's start with the cube fragments. What do you think about them?
Oh my gosh. Okay, there's so much to talk about just in Fortnitemares in general. The cube fragments add this PvE element to the game that when I first jumped in and played, I realized, okay, Fortnitemares is not an LTM. Repeat, not an LTM. This is just the game now. It was making me laugh hysterically through the entire first game that I played of it, because I was A, having fun because it's chaos, but B, realized how insane this is that they did this. It's crazy. This update is nuts. Anyway, the cube fragments are fun. I like being able to farm the zombies or the fiends that come off of them. I think that's actually kind of neat. And it gives you kind of something to do in the mid game in a new way that I like. It kind of, I don't know, it gives you something, a new element that I think is fun. The end game is pure chaos. When you're getting to the last few circles, there are so many god darn fiends. It is nuts. You're not fighting each other anymore. When it's top 3, you're not fighting top 3. You're playing zombie mode COD basically. Like you are just being bombarded by those and just trying to live. You're just trying to live. So my thoughts are fun and interesting. Needs a nerf.
Yeah, definitely needs a nerf. Yesterday I was like very nervous. I was not having the greatest time at first. Eventually I started adjusting to these things. The zombie spawn rate is just like ridiculous. They are spawning so fast on you. At first it is a lot of fun. Like you said, it's brand new to the game. I actually enjoy the idea of like farming these like mindless monsters. It actually makes me want to go play Save the World a bit. Like it's fun. It is a fun thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like gameplay and like the way a battle royale works, it's like you said, once you get down to like the final circles and you have to contend with these zombies, it can strip away all the advantages that you have going into late game that you work the entire game for. You know, they can knock down your high ground. They can get into your build while you're trying to heal. It's just all the stuff you have to manage. And I don't find it enjoyable. When I jump in today, maybe my opinion will change. But right now, I think it needs a big nerf. My first idea of nerf we were playing yesterday was the cube fragments you can destroy to stop the zombies from spawning. They have a ton of health to destroy them. It takes about 4 to 5 clips of an AR to destroy it. I think they need to make this thing way easier to destroy.
Yeah, that way you'd spawn a few less of them. You'd spawn less of them, make them weaker, any of those things. Also, pro tip, you can actually repair your walls while healing.
Can you really do that?
You can repair your walls while healing. I was seeing that on people are like the Reddit is blowing up about this. And I was like, someone was saying, pro tip, do this. I was like, oh, dude, what?
Right.
That's interesting, right?
Just a solid 10 months into the game, first time I'm hearing about this.
I know. I didn't know. Well, when do I rarely repair walls. You just rebuild, turbo build, baby.
Yeah. All right. Talk to me about the crossbow. What do you think about it coming back into the game in its new form?
Don't care about it whatsoever.
Oh, no?
Not even a little bit. I used to love the crossbow. It was great. This new crossbow's trash. It's just for killing it's for killing the fiends. That's it. Yeah. It's quiet, so you can quietly farm fiends. Yep. That's all it's there for. It's a trash item in every other way.
I was so sad when they put it back into this form. I woke up, I'm reading my Twitter in bed, looking at the patch notes, and I see the crossbows back, and I was stoked. And then come to find out, only getting 40 damage to the body, 60 to the head, and then 210 to fiends. Yep. I miss the old crossbow. I don't know why they just don't put it back. It's so fun to use. This is basically like to style on an opponent. If you kill somebody with a crossbow, dude, you're basically embarrassing them. You're doing it for the Instagram clip.
100%. One of my last clips was the last great crossbow clip because it was the day that they took out the crossbow and had like landed this beautiful headshot kill. Like the crossbow kills were so satisfying. Yeah. They felt so dirty. Hopefully,
maybe there's a step of them bringing it back once they see that people love it. I don't know. All right. Speaking of weapons, though, let's talk about all the weapon changes in 6.2. The big one, a new gun added to the game. The 6-shooter has been added to the game. It is an uncommon, rare, and epic item. It has 2 firing modes, one that you can shoot from the hip for a fast fire rate, or you can trade the fire rate to zoom in, ADS it for a little bit slower but accurate shooting. Uses medium ammo and can be found in floor loot chests and vending machines. What do you think about the 6-shooter?
My first impressions when I picked it up as my first gun and was ADSing is it did not do nearly enough damage. I was doing like 30 round shots and I was ADSing, so it was really slow. And as a first gun, I was like, this is brutal. I didn't realize that I needed to be hip firing it the way I should have. I need to play with it a little bit more. My initial reaction is I don't know where it fits into my inventory. I'm going to pick up an SMG instead of it every time.
Yeah. I love the 6-shooter. I think it actually replaces the SMG. I think if you're really consistent in landing a solid pump shot, the 6-shooter is the fastest kill follow-up. It takes 3 body shots to kill somebody. You get 6 shots, 3 of them real fast in succession, and they're dead with no shields, basically a full health bar with 3 shots. So if you land a solid, 70 damage on your pump, that thing is a great follow-up to quickly like blast somebody and build a wall. I'm loving the 6-shooter, man.
Okay. And that's a compelling argument. Like I got to give it more time, and I got to use the hip fire a little bit more. I got to just play with it more. I didn't feel confident enough using it.
Sure. And look, I love the 6-shooter, but my new big secondary.
I was gonna say
are some changes to the hand cannon, lovingly known as the Deagle. The hand cannon's damage has been increased. Its epic variant does more damage to structures, 79. They bumped it up to 150. The legendary form went from 83 damage to 157. They also increase the long range body shot and headshot damage, basically bumping it up anywhere from 20 to another 40 damage. You can hit people with 150 damage headshots from distance now. It is
Yup.
amazing. What do you think about the hand cannon?
Well, it's deserves its name again. You know what I mean? It was called the hand cannon for a reason. Now it's a gosh darn cannon. That's what it needed. That's what it needed to be. I love it. I'm so down with this. The fact that you can knock out build like that. Now, if this is my first gun in the game, I am pumped because I'm gonna riggedy wreck you. Like the hand cannon's always its biggest thing. It's never been bad per se. You just really have to land those shots. But now when you land those shots, you are punishing them. And I think that's great. That's what it should be. That's it makes it viable. It was feeling very it didn't fit in the game for a little while.
Yes.
And I think this brings it back to relevance.
I think you're completely right about that. I think it is the best secondary. I'm not sure if it's better. To me, it's the best secondary. I usually go from pump to an SMG. Now, if I get a hand cannon, that's my secondary. I was starting to gravitate towards that in the previous patch already because it was really consistent damage. For better or worse, it's got pretty good accuracy. Sometimes you get bloom on it that doesn't agree with you, but for the most part, if you're close range and you shoot somebody, it's gonna hit them. Now is just straight fire, dude. Like if someone at medium distance hitting for 150 in the head, like you can pump somebody from distance for 60. Followed up with a hand cannon, and you're slugging them. You're putting a huge one. The big thing to me is the increase in the structural damage. What this means effectively in game is that any fully built wood structure is one-shottable. Brick walls are 2-shot, metals are 3. And this is amazing. This is why I love using it as a secondary because I can go from a pump shot. If they build a wall, I can knock it down with a hand cannon and then follow up with another pump shot. Additionally, this is the best thing ever. When people lay a trap down on a wooden wall to kill you inside of their little 1x1, you can take a hand cannon and shoot that wall out. And now that trap is gone.
Yes, I love that.
This is a shot at the trap meta that's going on in the game right now, and I love it, man.
It's a great game changer. It's kind of like the heavy sniper rifle. How you can quickly switch from that, take out the wall, and do something. Except it's a lot more accessible. I love it. I'm so down. Can't wait.
Yeah, great change. So with the Halloween Fortnitemares event, the rocket launcher has been changed to the pumpkin launcher. It does a huge blah. I don't think you can hear the thing at all in the game, man. This is horrible, bro. I can't hear anything, man.
The sound is so different because of the new sound dynamics that they've implemented into the game. It's weird. It's weird. If you're in your 1x1 or something like that, you can't hear it properly. It does make a crazy blah sound, but I never know where the hell it's coming from, which is another thing we got to talk about this whole Fortnitemares update.
Oh,
the sound,
Let's talk about it
man.
Real quick. We're on it.
Forgot to get into that. The sound in Fortnitemares. There's so many gosh darn fiends all over the place. Redeployable gliders, which we're going to get into. There are sounds popping everywhere all the time. I have no idea what the hell is going on. When I hear blah, I'm like, I think something's about to explode, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. You're right, dude. There is a massive increase to like just ambient audio. When you're around these cube fragments, they really, if you've been playing the game, you've heard how Kevin sounds with like the low rumbling. That is at every cube fragments. Cube fragments are over the map. There is a constant hum in your ears, so it's hard to hear everything. It's hard to hear footsteps, hard to hear the wahs. It's just
plus more footsteps with all these fiends running around. Like and also just glider sounds constantly, and just it's chaos. Like the game feels like chaos.
Quick side note: the portal fortresses and the guided missiles are back in the game. I seen a guided missile yesterday in game, and I almost laughed, dude. Like I was like, "Why is this here?" We have quad launchers, rocket launchers, and grenade launchers. Who's picking up a guided missile, dude?
What is its purpose? Like, why? Who thinks this is still a useful item or deserves a place in this game? Makes no sense.
Look, whoever like sold the BS idea on the design team that's like, this is a scouting item, dude. I applaud you. You are the best like bullshitter I've ever seen in the workplace. Like I have never used this thing to scout ever, dude.
Yeah, like in theory, if this was like a really tactical game and we were playing in squads, maybe. But this is way too fast paced. You know how I'm going to scout? I'm going to porter rift. You know how I'm going to scout? I'm going to jump up in my freaking quad crasher. Like there's a million different ways. Like I'm fine. I don't need a slow turning garbage missile that is trash. Get out of here.
Yeah. All right. You brought it up a little bit earlier. The next big thing in 6.2, outside of the weapons of the Fortnitemares, we're talking about the gliders. The gliders are now redeployable. If you've been playing the Soarin' 50s or the Soarin' Squad modes, gliders are now available in game. If you are above 10 meters, you can redeploy a glider. whenever you want in the game. Flood, what do you think about these gliders?
10 meters equates to about 3 stories, by the way. So build 3 ramps, jump off, away you go. You can glide. Yay, Mary Poppins. Yikes. As I think you wrote in the patch notes, yikes. Like, this is crazy. And they pitched this as an experiment, like a week-long experiment. But they also decided to put it in at the same time as Fortnitemares. I don't think they're going to get anything valuable out of this experiment. Like, literally nothing, because Fortnitemares is its own mess. Add this on, it's all just it's a nightmare. The whole thing is a nightmare. I don't understand it. Glider redeploys are almost necessary though, because your build is getting taken down by the fiends all the time anyway. Like, it's just such a wacky meta to be alive in right now. Glider redeploys are fun. Soaring 50s is a fun mode. I get it. It is not a competitive mode. It is a fun, like, free, my inner child. I get to fly around. It's great. I like that. Does it belong in the game? Bring back bounce pads.
Yeah, you and the entire community are screaming that. It's like you said, man. It's like, it's fun. To me, it's a nice break from the standard mode. But these things being in the game, it's like the craziest, unenjoyable moments for me. I've been able to dip out of build fights I should have had no business of disengaging from. I've had people do it to me. Being able to go from a build fight to gliding over to a purple geyser, and then hitting that, and then like redeploying a glide. Like, the amount of mobility that's in this game right now is like incredible. I cannot even believe how hard it is to keep up with sometimes.
But I'm pro mobility usually, you know what I mean? Like, I'm usually wanting more mobility, but I feel like somehow this is too far.
Yeah, and like, I get it. Like, they're wanting to address some of the getting caught in the storm type of things. But this just, I don't think is the way. I think you can make adjustments to this, but right now it's a big yikes for me. Yesterday I was fighting someone, he had high ground with a rocket launcher, right? So I can't even attempt to get the high ground because of this rocket launcher. So I go to knock out his build, and then he can just, he stays up there with his rocket launcher all the way up while I'm trying to knock down his build, and he just slowly, comes down and has a rocket launcher in my face. It's just, ugh.
People are susceptible when they're gliding, though. There is that. Like, you can still take shots at least. Like, I've definitely had a few of those moments where someone redeploys and I'm like, pop in the air, which is great, but you'll do, a couple pick damage. You're not usually getting the kill like that sometimes. Well, but it's just...
because I've heard that from a lot of people. And it's not necessarily the gliding that's the part, slowly gliding. It's the part of you being able to skydive. The speed of skydive is near impossible to track. If you can do it, you are a god in this game. It's just hard to hit people who are skydiving, man.
So maybe that's the fix. Take away the skydive. If you redeploy the glider, you redeploy the glider. You know what I mean?
Maybe that is the fix. I'm not sure mechanically if they can do that or not, like the way it's programmed, but like, I would like to see that. I also think a fix would be to make this a thing where maybe you can only redeglide if you're outside of the safe zone while the storm is moving. If the storm is active and is closing in, you are able to redeploy your glider if you're not inside of the circle. That would help for the mobility, the movement, but it would also take away this idea that you can just build sky bases without any repercussions, man.
Anything that brings back sky bases is a problem.
Yeah.
There's another...
I was kind of joking around where I was just like straight building a ramp all the way up, building one by one up there, and just sitting there until I see people. And like, if they shoot me, I dive on them, or if I see them, I just straight dive on them.
Either way you win. That's There's another actually update that we didn't talk about here, and this is another experiment that they were doing that I don't think we even noticed. And it actually, I tried to save your life the other day and it cost me. They halved the time that you're down now.
Yes.
We didn't talk about this, and I don't think we were going to, but that's another experiment that they're apparently running that, again, makes no sense during Fortnitemares, because you've got no time to res when you're being attacked by fiends. Why are you running these experiments at the same time as you're running what should be an LTM in your main game? What is happening? And I'm the guy who's for this. Like, I'm liking this. I'm the one who likes this, and I'm saying this. Like, come on, guys.
Also, small update to the audio, by the way. Do you like the new trap sound? When you switch,
I like it traps? When you select it. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I like it. An audio key while you're cycling through, so you don't have to see what trap you're on. Like, that's such a good quality of life. Like, that's
smart.
Bump. Before we move on to the playground changes, I'm going to stay on this the battle royale mode. Let's talk about the general meta with everything included, like everything together. Are you having more fun in Fortnite today than you were 2 days ago?
Oh my God. You know, it's so hard to say because like my first few games were just filled with pure joy in the chaos. Like I
Mhm.
was just like, this is chaos and I'm having fun, but I don't think it's sustainable fun.
Yeah.
I think this is the kind of fun that will wear off within another 2 days. Like I'm gonna laugh and giggle about the Fortnitemares and some guy getting killed by a brute or me getting killed by a brute. Let's not talk about it. Don't at me.
No, it's just
Um,
embarrassing.
you don't have a clip of that, and I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, like it's still giving me like childlike glee, but I don't
Mhm.
think that's sustainable. I'm glad this mode ends, but it needs to end or be tweaked sooner, quicker, faster, stronger.
Yeah, I think this mode is going on till the end of Halloween. This kind of seems like the
Middle of
natural ending.
November.
It's going on to middle of November.
Middle of November.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to stay in its current state till the middle of November. This thing is like you kept saying this word yesterday while we are playing. This is alienating. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
that I
for the
think that's
competitive.
yeah. We're not even talking about esports. Like next week, tune in. We're gonna be talking all about the TwitchCon tournament to finish up fall skirmish with these things to see what actually happened. Like, there's not a lot to talk about now, except for like the pros are like really nervous.
Yeah, well, and that's actually the big headline here is that this is the live update that they will be playing for what
Yeah.
$1 million worth of prizes or two. What I don't even know what the prize pool is. It's obscene, and this is what they've all been practicing for, playing it in private lobbies and servers because Epic gave them keys; they could have their own servers and
Yep.
practice. And then they're like, "Yeah, new game."
Yep. So
What? Like, because this is a
that'll be
completely different game than it was a day ago. Like, it's crazy.
yeah. I'm super interested to see what goes on TwitchCon with this, man, because it is just I've seen some of the comments from pros and like the discords and stuff, and it is rough, dude. Rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just in general with the meta, dude, like I am not having as much fun as I was 2 days ago, and I don't think all of it comes down to the Fortnitemares mode. I think that all these little changes they made with like the redeploy, the downstate and stuff, I think some problems, man. I think they're like deep rooted problems in this game that like I know they're testing it, and like
Yeah.
that's fine, but this is why companies have test servers for this
Exactly.
stuff. And I like the jetpack was a test, and that stayed with us for like months, dude. We were using jetpacks for a long time. So
And maybe run your tests not before giant tournaments, and maybe run your tests not during Halloween events that change the whole game mode like completely. Like it's just such a peculiar decision. Like it's such an overhaul of the game all at once,
mhm.
just thrust upon us. And you know what? Maybe it'll go away, and we'll all be like, you know what? I kind of missed that thing that used to happen. That was fun. Maybe we'll just be forced, and we'll end up realizing we like it. It'll be Stockholm syndrome. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's wild. It's definitely wild. They got cojones for doing this, man.
They really do, dude. All right, let's talk about the playgrounds before we boot out of here. A couple of new things added to the playground mode. They have been increasing the amount of stuff you can do inside of the playground modes. Um, Much like the spiky stadium that you could deploy, they've added more of these types of things. There are porta challenges in the game now. There are obstacle courses, building challenges, and firing ranges. There are a second version of the spiky stadium has been released, and they have a brand new mini game called the Porta Pirate Ship, with a mini game shown off by XXVXN. I'm not sure if there's a way to say, is that 7 with X's? I'm an old man. What do you think about these port or playground changes with all the porta stuffs?
It's you know what they found a way to make a training mode for Fortnite, and I think that's smart. You know what I mean? If you're a new player and you're trying to just get better at the game, they're going to give you a way an entry point now with this, something to practice, something to play with, and I think that's smart. This is what Playground is for. It's called the Playground for a reason. I think this is great. Add more of this stuff. I'm down, and this is a great place to test things in the playground to test things.
I love this type of stuff, man.
It's genius.
I'm a little bit older. I'm more like just like playing a regular game. I'm a little bit more old school with my, I'm an old Quake player and stuff. I just want to frag people, but I'm sure like the younger generations that play this game are even more going to be loving this stuff. They love doing these types of mini games. This is making it more of a party mode. I love that Playground is evolving. It went from something to just practice like, your builds or your, 1-by-1 fighting to this thing where they're adding like the porta pirate ships, the firing ranges, the building challenges. Like it is just fun. It's an evolution of their systems. I love it. It's great, man.
It creates a game within the game that I think is really strong. I agree 100%. I think it's really smart, and I think there's going to be a lot of kids out there who are loving it. There's going to be kids showing their parents how to play Fortnite in the playground. Like it's just a fun place, and I like what they're doing. I think it's smart.
All right, that's going to do it for episode 10 of the Fortnite Update. The question of the week: should the Fiends be a permanent fixture inside of Fortnite? Leave your comments down below in the YouTube section. Maybe we'll bring it up. I'm Drunky. You can find me on twitch.tv/Drunky, and my co-host, The Flood.
Twitch.tv/The Flood.
Quick reminder, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe so you can come back for next week's podcast. And if you're one of our audio listeners, make sure you leave that 5-star review and a comment to help our discovery. See you guys next week for episode 11. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.